Have you ever wanted to save ultimate charge and transfer it onto a different hero? Because that's the thing which is going to be doable in Overwatch 2. That's right, you heard me correctly, but I've got the details. Let's get stuck into this. Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to the channel. I'm Stylosa. So in this video, we're going to cover Blizzard's goals for the upcoming beta, which of course will include Junker Queen and a bunch of hero mini reworks and balance changes and all of that good stuff. So let's just get stuck into this, and then we're going to move on to this new DPS Ultimate, which means you can save ultimate charge, and we've got a bit more information on that. We can go into a bit more detail on how that will actually work, because that is absolutely crazy. Overwatch 2 beta testing goals: uniting development with the community. The upcoming Overwatch 2 beta is upon us, and the team is incredibly excited to welcome players on Xbox and PlayStation and bring Junker Queen, Rio, and multiple balance changes to the game. Player feedback is the most integral part of the beta process, illuminating areas we need to change and bringing us one step closer to Overwatch 2's launch. Before our next beta begins, we'd like to share a few of our goals so you know we are focused on testing and helping everyone make the most of their experience. Technical goals. This beta will be the first time Xbox and PlayStation players get their hands on Overwatch 2, and we're looking to test game service by significantly scaling up capacity. This helps us determine server load and performance as we mass test across platforms for the first time in Overwatch 2. We are keeping a sharp eye out for bugs and performance issues so that we can polish the game and provide the best experience possible for our players during this beta and later this year at launch. This part of development includes listening to feedback and using it to improve the quality of our work. So, we're excited to hear what players have to say as we work to finalize the build for October the 4th. Now, this is where it gets spicy, and we're going to carry on and read the rest of this blog post, and then we're going to go back and talk about this DPS thing, because it's absolutely, like, it's just a bombshell they've just dropped on us. It's like, boom, there you go. So this is what they say: game design and balance goals. Between betas, we've made several changes that will have an impact on upcoming gameplay. For example, the damage passive speed boost has been removed and replaced with a new passive that allows damage heroes to maintain up to 30% of their ultimate charge when swapping to other damage heroes. We're closely looking at how people are playing across all roles, and we're still paying particular attention to the support performance to address player feedback prior to launch. The team is currently ideating, designing, and testing some new abilities we can give existing support heroes, beginning with significant Moira changes coming in the balance patch during this beta. Okay, let's just focus on the Moira thing at the moment, and then we'll because we're going to go into detail on the whole DPS thing after we finish this blog post. But Moira is not launching with the beta. She's going to be the mid-beta update, and we know this beta is going to run for 3 weeks or thereabouts. So after a week and a bit, we're going to get a Moira update, and we'll be able to see the Moira Rework, which we believe will include some sort of skill shot ability, which either weakens or prevents targets from receiving healing and doing damage or something like that. But it's a skill shot that you kind of have to pull off like an Ana sleep dart. At least that's the kind of information we've been piecing together from the developers. But yeah, that DPS thing, oh my god, good lord, good lord. But just hold on to that thought. Push has also been the subject of some changes over the past few weeks. After reviewing player feedback, we've decided to add 2 minutes to the time bank. This will extend the game from 8 minutes to 10, giving both teams a little more time to push TS1 to the end. Over the past few weeks, we've heard many player requests for a competitive experience in the beta. While we continue to focus our work on deploying a redesigned competitive experience for launch, we've decided to enable a partial competitive rule set that will allow teams to play out full maps while still having backfills if a player disconnects. Now, this is good. Like, this should have just been in the first beta, to be honest, because you want to play attack and defend. You don't just want to play one round and then that's it. It doesn't feel great. So I like that. This is great. The changes to push, I don't know about this. So I've been watching a bunch of Overwatch League, and honestly, the game mode in Overwatch League is kind of trash. So once you get to like 70, 80, 90, if you get 100 meters, you've basically won. But if you get 70 or 80 meters pushed, it becomes very difficult for the other team to do that. And if you do that at the start of the game, then we just literally sit there for 5, 6, 7 minutes while up to 8 minutes, while we're just waiting for the enemy team to try and push it back, but they've got no chance really. And it's really puts a dampener on the game mode. So I don't know about increasing the time of the mode. I think it needs other changes potentially. But yeah, I don't know. At least they're looking at it. Continued communication with our players. Just like we did throughout the first beta, we plan to address balance changes and explain to our players what we are doing and why. And make sure to keep an eye out for more details on additional topics as we close the gap on Overwatch 2's upcoming October the 4th launch. Thank you for being part of the ride, and we'll see you during the second beta. Okay, so that wraps up the blog post. Now, of course, the big thing there is this change to the DPS passive. Now, it used to give you a movement speed buff, and the way it worked was, actually, Genji and Tracer, they always moved faster than any other DPS. Anyway, they had a slight movement buff back in Overwatch 1. That was removed, and then all DPS was given a massive speed boost, which, I'll be honest, did feel really good. However, they've decided to remove that, and I believe they'll probably be adding back the movement speed buffs to Tracer and Genji back from Overwatch 1, not the Overwatch 2 passive we played in the last beta, but just their sort of innate movement speed, which is slightly faster than most DPS. However, the new passive now allows you to transfer your ultimate charge. Now, the question is, how the hell does this work? Because if you are Tracer, you will get 30% ult charge really fast. And I mean really fast. Could you then swap to a slower charging DPS ultimate like, I don't know, Reaper, and then you get 30%? So could you cheat the system to get a faster Reaper ultimate? The answer to that is no, and I'm going to explain why I know that, because Avril, one of the casters for Overwatch League, spoke to the developers and they gave him some pretty good information. This is, again, would have been nice information if it was included in the blog post, but whatever. I found the information so we can go over it in this video. So Avril says, most relevant use case of the new DPS passive will be in allowing players to quick swap to necessary counters after losing the first fight without penalty. Also allows you to make creative plays out of attackers spawn, Widow, Bastion, Sombra, and swapping off without a penalty. And this was in response to a quote retweet from Liz Richardson, who is a Overwatch reporter, reports mainly on Overwatch League, just saying like, hey, look at this, damage passive changed. DPS heroes now retain 30% ult charge upon swap. So Avril posts a mini thread, only 2 posts on Twitter, but he says this: had some dev confirmation on exactly how this works. The 30% ult retention is scaled based on how much the ultimate costs. 30% of pulse bomb is 378 out of 1260 points. If you swap to Reaper, you will still only be at 378 out of 2,100, which is 18% of Death Blossom. The ult points transfer 1-to-1. If you had 60% of a pulse bomb at 756 out of 1,260, you would transfer all of the 765 points over to a maximum of 30% of the new hero. In this case, the 756 becomes 630 out of 2,100 towards Death Blossom, i.e. 30% of your new Reaper ultimate. So what this means in simple language, I think Avril's explained that great there, but what it really means is it transfers the points up to 30%. So in this example of Tracer, who has got 60% ultimate charge, if she then swaps to a Reaper, the Reaper will then have 30% because 60% of Tracer's ultimate charge, points-wise, will be pushed over into Reaper up to a maximum of 30%, and that would cap him at 30%. So you couldn't go in with 100% pulse bomb and then go to Reaper and be like, oh yeah, look, now I've got 50%. It doesn't work that way. It's capped at 30%. Now, it's great to have clarification on this. Now, this, on the face of it, seems like initially I was like, oh man, I really wanted to keep the movement speed buff because it feels so much better playing DPS when you move really fast. It just feels great. However, tactically and strategically, being able to swap and retain ultimate charge is huge. It's absolutely massive. We've all been there. You know, you've nearly got an ultimate, but maybe you're getting camped in spawn. You're like, oh, I'll just carry on. I'll just try and get this Riptire, or, you know, I'll try and get this Dragon Blade or whatever. Instead of going, actually, we need to swap hero to something completely different to break how the enemy are holding us. Maybe you need a Pharah or an Echo. But the reason you don't do it is because you're getting close to your ultimate and you don't want to throw away the charge. However, now you would be able to just swap your hero and you will retain up to 30% of the ultimate charge when the points are transferred over on a one-to-one basis. So it's a little bit more technical, but this actually might be a very elegant change to DPS. And this might mean, you know what? Suddenly, if you do lose that first fight, but maybe you popped off and maybe you got a bunch of ultimate charge and you need to swap hero because the enemy have got a certain comp that counters whatever you're playing, you can do it. And the punishment actually isn't that bad. And suddenly, you can change up your comp, and that's really, really strong. I think this could be a very good sign of changes coming to the game in the future, because if they do more stuff like this, I think that this actually could be really, really big and make the game more tactical as well. And also, this might feed into push, because in push, if you lose a fight, it doesn't feel great, and then they get a bunch of distance being pushed. Then if you lose it again and again and again, maybe you want to stick on the heroes, the DPS heroes, to try and retain the ultimate charge, but now you can swap off them and you can share up to 30% of that ult charge and maybe swap your comp and make different plays, basically. So this is really, really cool, honestly. I think this is really cool. Let me know what you think about this, though, in the comments below, guys. Now, as ever, I will be reading the comments because you guys leave awesome comments. But yeah, I'm going to do my best to keep you guys informed with everything that's going on with Overwatch 2. The beta is just around the corner. It starts on the 28th of June, so I'm looking forward to that. And yeah, all right, guys. Remember, you can follow me on everything, which is at Stylosa. You can follow me on TikTok, which is at StylosaUL. And yeah, I'll catch you lovely lot on the next one. See you soon.